Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And Larson.
What?
You want to answer some questions?
Yeah, I suppose.
All right. Eastside Reviews says, who would you consider the four pillars of WWE's future similar to AEW's four pillars? He says, in his opinion, it would be Solo Sikoa, Carmelo Hayes, Austin Theory, and Braun Breaker. Now, for my money, I see two of those as certainties, and that's Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes. I'm filling out the other two. I would say Roxanne Perez is one of them. And Cora Jade. I think those are two that, like, 3 to 4 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, they'll be really far up the food chain. I think they'll be really, real high up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have alternates there?
See, I'm looking at the roster right now.
No, who you got?
And I agree with Carmelo and Trick.
Mm-hmm.
Or Carmelo, sorry. I'm just going through the roster here.
I mean, obviously, four Uncle Howdies would be...
Yeah, that's the real answer.
So
or, Mello and Theory for
up
sure.
and coming young superstar.
What about
LA
Hard
Knight.
Justice?
Again, you can't go wrong with Hard Justice.
Oh, here's a name.
Mm-hmm.
Ilya.
Oh, that's not a bad name. I wonder if all those dudes have visa problems.
That could be.
Because that's like we're not seeing them right now.
Because I feel like you could consider Ilya, Julius Creed.
Oh, Julius Creed's a really good one too. Yeah.
Wesley even.
Wesley's a really good one. I'd love to think that Damon Kemp is one, but I don't know what plans they have.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like they treat him the same as Julius Creed.
You could even say Pete Dunne. I know he's been in the organization for a while, but he's still pretty damn young.
He is, yeah.
On the women's side of thing, you could Blair Davenport.
Oh, Blair's a good name. Yeah. Again, I would assume those are visa issues that they're all having.
I think Gigi and JC.
I think Gigi's got such a unique look, and she's a decent wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gigi probably has a higher ceiling than JC Jane.
You mentioned Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Yeah, those are all.
I think when I see Roxanne and Cora, I think, man, they have plans for them. I really get that feeling.
It seems like they're the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the Stone Cold Rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
People they intend on feuding for a very long time. The Ciampa Gargano,
Yeah, I could see that. Enforcer has some great answers. Dan Quayle, Hubert H. Humphreys, Bob Dole, and Geraldine Ferraro.
Interesting.
I probably would disagree with that, but maybe that's a conversation we're going to have on Warzone later. Let's see here. Let's see here.
There was one I saw here that was really good about how to make war. There we go. FSI. I feel like War Games is kind of a boring match with the first 40 minutes being stalling. How would you improve War Games? I don't know if it's about stalling per se, but it's kind of strange that the match doesn't start until 30 minutes into it.
Yeah,
So,
it's a funny moment that is just sort of a funny moment, and then I kind of forget about it. But there's always that thing about, oh yeah, now the match starts. Everybody always says, oh, now the match starts.
Mm-hmm.
It is goofy. I maybe just don't ring the bell. Maybe just make it a thing where the match does start at the beginning, but no pinfalls can happen but nobody can win it until the last guy's in there. Like, it's a small thing. It's a really small thing, but hearing that bell ring is just silly. You know what I mean?
yeah, it is. I'm trying to think of something like. Could you, in theory, make it so as soon as the match starts with the first two people in the ring, the match starts and pinfalls can happen at any point? Wouldn't that up the drama of the first half of the match, especially when you have 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 situations?
Would it make it too unrealistic that two people in a tornado handicap situation?
I mean, it's only like 3
shit?
minutes you need to kill the clock. So if you're the
3 minutes is forever when you have chairs and shit in there. Like, you just start wailing, two people just wailing away on one guy. It's like, let's just stack on top of each other. And it's
yeah,
done.
no, that's the issue, obviously. I'm just trying to think of something that makes it seem like it's there's
FTW
urgency from the moment the first two people get in the ring. You know what I mean?
FTW says they should make the intervals shorter. I agree.
Minute and a half.
Yeah.
Or how
Blake
about this?
Wyatt,
Just have everybody in the ring to start the match.
that's a good one. Or you could do like to start it. It could be like 4-on-5, and you just have like one advantage, and then 33 minutes later, your last guy comes, or you're like one person is held back for that time. Add penalty boxes.
There you
Blake
go.
Wyatt,
That's always the answer.
Blake Whitehouse says, if the draft happens after Mania, which 5 men and women need to change brands?
Oof.
I feel like SmackDown needs some more like main event level women.
Yes. I was about to mention, maybe Charlotte will come back to SmackDown. Maybe Sasha and Naomi will. But until we know for sure, yeah, absolutely. That is definitely the case.
5 men and women need to change brands.
But then at the same time, if you really load up SmackDown, it could serve to deplete the depth on the Raw roster too.
You could take all 5 members of Team Bad Guy for the women's War Games match. Mm-hmm. Put them on SmackDown. You'll still have a fucking loaded roster.
You still
on
have
Raw
Alexa, Asuka, Becky, Bianca. Yeah, that's true.
Those are all
everybody
legit
except for
main
Rhea.
eventers.
You know
you do
with Judgment Day. What?
Do this. Call up Toxic Attraction to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Put Doudrop back on SmackDown. I don't know where she is now.
I think she's on Raw. Yeah.
I don't know if she has visa issues. Does everybody just have visa issues right now?
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. And then in terms of like 5 men to change brands.
I mean, I'd assume it has to be some people from Raw. Well, actually, the Raw SmackDown rosters in terms of numbers isn't that different.
Yeah, I'd separate not separate, but OC or Judgment Day go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Separate. They're going to do plenty.
Send the OC to SmackDown, because then at least we can get a Bloodline OC feud.
And on top of that, SmackDown's a house that AJ Styles built.
Exactly.
He should be there. Gregory asks, is there a chance someone signed in New Japan is an entrant in the Royal Rumble? You think they're going to open up the forbidden door for Dick Togo?
I mean, if you assume Carl Anderson has some sort of deal signed with New Japan, the answer is yes.
Seems to be the case. Yeah, I doubt that they're going to do anything past that, but I'd love to see something.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It'd be
Josh Alexander in the Rumble, I think, would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, Maggie says she posted a picture a while back with a medical device on her chest similar to the one Rhea had, so I assume she's on medical. Are we talking about Doudrop here?
Oh, okay.
Maybe we're talking about Doudrop.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Jason Lewis. Which match makes for a better storytelling opportunities? The traditional Survivor Series elimination or War Games?
I feel like there's a potential for the elimination matches to have more storytelling opportunities if the winners actually got something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because
I love
the Authority versus Team Cena one from a few years back, where Dolph was the sole survivor, that felt like it mattered.
I love that. I love the elimination one where Triple H made a mockery of it all. It's my favorite.
Again, not a whole lot in the way of
series.
stakes, but yes, Triple H did make the mockery of the whole thing. Yeah,
he was like laughing his way through that match.
He really was. He was cracking up. Like War Games is enjoyable in its own way, but it's more about the brutality of the structure and the fact that anything kind of goes, you know. But it all depends on if there's stakes to the match, if there's a story going into it. Like the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes one, there was a pretty significant story.
Mm-hmm, yeah, right.
And the Bloodline actually trusts Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And
then he more or less said, yes, you can. Now Jay loves him, and now Sami's about to get kicked out. So at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, if there's a good story going into it and the story plays out in an intriguing way during the match, then yeah, it could be cool.
I love this question. Remorse Betrayal. What's the next big act for the Bloodline when this is all over? So my thing is this. I think that it needs to play out like this. Now that Jay's on board, they jump out Sami soon. Like not this week because it's on FS1, but the next week. They have a big celebration. Sami gets jumped out. Jay's fucking horrified.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Solo had got orders from Roman, so they're in on it. Jay was frozen out. So Jay's like, oh, this sucks. I don't want to be doing this. Mm-hmm. Him and Jimmy lose the titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn
Mania, yeah.
at Mania. night 1. Night 2, Roman needs his right hand, Jey Uso, and Jey elects not to help him. Roman loses the titles. What do you do with
Rock?
the blood? No, Cody.
Okay.
Somehow, some way. I don't know. Or however Roman loses the titles, it's because Jey doesn't help him. Jey says, no, we're not doing this. You're on your own.
Yeah.
What happens after that? Roman loses his titles, Usos lose their titles. What happens?
Well, I think Roman takes a pretty significant break. I don't think we see him on TV for a while.
I think you're right. But how, like, do you try to tell another big story with the bloodline after that?
I don't know if there is a bloodline to tell a story with, though. That's the point. I think Roman's gone for a while. I think effectively the Usos are out if there is a bloodline anymore. But if the Usos are out, then it's just Roman and Solo. I just kind of feel like bloodline falls apart. If none of them have titles, Roman can't make the claim he's head of the table anymore if he doesn't have those titles. And if the Usos don't have the tag titles, it's not like Roman is going to be necessarily cool with being a group anymore. You know, the thing is, the idea is if you're in the bloodline, you gotta carry your weight. And part of that is being a champion.
Here's what it needs to be. And I don't have any specifics. I don't have the story. But the original plan for Roman is to make him a huge babyface. Mm-hmm. You introduce some other big threat into WWE, whether it's Cross and some sort of like cross-based faction, something that's even more vile than the bloodline. That's what you do. You got to introduce something bigger and badder than the bloodline.
Yeah.
Hard justice, obviously.
1000%.
And Roman comes back as a face because everybody loves the big bad dude who then turns babyface. I don't know how you do it, but that's what you do. I got to let my cat out, so ask.
All right, let your cat out. So Maggie here says, for the next chapter question, a friendo, Mark Marquez on YouTube brought up this question, but that I thought was interesting. When do you think they will introduce The Rock into Roman's story? And do you think that his daughter will come into play at all? I don't think Ava Raine will come into play in terms of the Roman Rock story. Depending on what the stipulation is for the Rumble. If it's, for whatever reason, Roman has to defend the title during the Rumble, when he wins that, then The Rock will show up. I'm just hard-pressed to believe that The Rock's going to win the Rumble, but I could be wrong.
Hold on.
But, we'll see. Hopefully it'll keep us on our toes and it'll be something interesting. Rather than just The Rock shows up at number 30, wins the Rumble, gets the match against Roman.
The good thing about this one is that I can edit the damn thing. So my hunch is that Rock will make a Matt Chat video appearance at the Rumble. That's my, but I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, if Roman ends up entering, nobody said this. Nobody has indicated this was an idea. But if Roman is the Rumble, wins the Rumble, and then after that, The Rock drops a video message.
Or shows up or is there. One of the two.
Or is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of like how I could see it happening, and that's like a likely scenario because Rock is a very busy person. Mm-hmm. But if he's going to be a mania, you got to put him on TV somehow.
He's got to make appearances on WTV to build in the match. Yeah, so he's
right,
got to be on TV. But yeah, as far as Ava Raine, I would be really surprised if she were involved in the story at all. Just she's involved in a thing at NXT, So
if they all of a sudden came up with a good thing for her to be involved in the bloodline, they'd snatch her right out of Schism.
Entirely possible.
Let's see here. F-Pop says, is Shayna legitimately the only person who could take the belt off Ronda? When he says legitimately, I think he means storyline purposes because it's all fake. By the way, another thing you and I have to do is those TikTok comments. Once you get to a certain level, it brings out the weirdos.
Oh, really?
There's been so many. You guys know it's fake, right? We've gotten a lot of those. It's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have to do a thing where we read those publicly.
All right, very well, very well.
Is Shayna legitimately the only person who could take the belt off of Ronda? I would love to see that be the case.
Yeah, I would too. You could always do Becky versus Ronda 1-on-1. Mm-hmm. Have Becky beat her for the title. I guess you can go back to Charlotte and Ronda. There's other challengers, obviously. I mean, I hope it's Shayna and Ronda because it'd be cool if Shayna got the title bout at Mania. That'd be awesome.
Oh, wow. I hard disagree on this one. Boombastic says, with Paul at the helm now, could we see WrestleMania return to a one-night event? 2 nights is way too much. Not everybody deserves to be on that show. I fucking hope not, and I don't think they're going to. I think if you can sell out the way they sold out L.A. or have sold as much as they did to L.A.
They base is pretty damn close to a sell.
It's right,
a ton of tickets.
You're going to sell that 2 nights instead of doing one? Are you kidding me? No, they're going to do
2
nights.
manageable 4-hour shows instead of one 8-hour show.
Dude,
that's a lot to sit through. It's a lot to ask of a crowd to sit through an 8-hour show.
Plus, they haven't even broached the idea of telling a story over 2 nights. And I think there's a lot of ground you can cover there as well. And I think Triple H might consider that stuff.
Yeah, it's possible.
Let's see here. We'll end on this one. Oh, actually, no, there's another. Quote the Raven. When are we going to see Dom versus Ray? That's got to be Mania.
Yeah, you'd think so.
I think they're going to do that at Mania. Let's see here.
Ooh, White Brownie says first hour Raws could be commercial free.
Why?
Usually that just means they fill the commercial time with recaps. That's usually what that means.
They do, and it's boring, but have a hard time selling ad space on Raw. It's Beyblade. Dave Matusha.
They got that huge Beyblade check, so like, all right, guess what? First hour Raw, ad free.
Yeah, right. David says, if you were to associate a wrestler who you do not like with a Christmas song, who would they be, and which songs would fit that context? What's a Christmas song you don't like?
You know, I gotta be kind of honest. I'm kind of tired of Christmas songs because it's the same ones every year.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's, you know, being on this earth for more than 40 years, hearing the same Christmas songs over and over.
Yeah. Once a year for a brief period of time, like a couple weeks a year. Yeah.
I mean, there's the station here in town that's already been playing Christmas music for a week.
Yeah, I love it. I put my Christmas tree up after Halloween. Let's flip this. Let's take the best Christmas song of all time. Do They Know It's Christmas?
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy we're in agreement on that.
Who would you give that as a theme song to year round? Do they know? It'd be Judgment Day for me. Do they know? All right. Because they're kind of like a did they have a name for that? That wasn't Band-Aid.
It might have. I forgot exactly who it was credited to. Hold on, I'll check real quick.
Christmas time at the Mr. Dope says,
yeah,
I heard
Band-Aid.
that.
It was Band-Aid.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was Band-Aid. Bob Geldof wrote that.
I know it was Geldof. I didn't know it was Band-Aid. I thought Band-Aid wasn't like a concert, like an actual concert.
No, that was Live Aid.
Live Aid. Okay. Right on. None of this is going to make the actual QA episode.
Oh, you don't think so? It's going in the podcast. I'll tell you what.
That's going to do it for us today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out this other video. We'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.